You want it, and yet somehow you can't receive it. The reason is hidden within you. You know what you want: more freedom, more abundance, more love in your life. The desire is clear. And still, reality seems to pause just before it fully arrives. It feels like the flow slows down at the last step. Have you ever wondered why it hasn't reached you yet? We tend to look outside for answers. Maybe the timing is off. Maybe we're not fully ready. Maybe we simply need to try harder. But sometimes, the real cause is quieter. We say we want something, and at the same time, we're afraid of it. We long for success, yet fear the change it brings. We seek love, yet try to avoid the risk of being hurt. That simultaneous break, that's resistance. You can't receive what you're still resisting. But the moment you become aware of that resistance, the flow begins to shift. Today, we'll gently loosen that resistance and align you with the version of yourself who can receive. Chapter 1: Resistance is not rejection. When we hear resistance, we imagine pushing something away. But resistance is more subtle than that. It's not, "I don't want this." It's, "I want it, but I'm bracing myself." Imagine standing before a major opportunity. Your heart races with excitement, and at the same time, a thought appears. What if I'm not ready? You wanted this, yet suddenly anxiety rises. That isn't rejection, it's vulnerability. Resistance is like pressing the brake and the gas at the same time. You want to move forward, but you also want to stay safe. When those two forces operate together, your energy splits. The desire is there, yet movement slows. Resistance isn't refusing to receive. It's your unconscious attempt to protect yourself. Chapter 2: Why resistance is hard to notice. Resistance rarely shows up as a clear no. On the surface, you say, "I want this." Inside, another voice whispers something else. You may want higher income, yet fear becoming overwhelmed. You may want recognition, yet worry about criticism. Both voices are real. That's why it's hard to see the contradiction. Your mind believes it's moving forward, but your body and emotions are quietly breaking. Often, resistance comes from the past, moments you were hurt, rejected, or disappointed. A part of you learned, "Let's not go through that again." So resistance isn't weakness, it's a protective instinct. But when that protection stays active, it keeps away the very things you're trying to receive. Chapter 3: Resistance is not something to force away. Once you notice resistance, the instinct is to eliminate it. I just need to be more positive. I need more confidence. I have to push through. But resistance doesn't dissolve through force. The more you try to override it, the stronger your inner defense becomes, because it believes it's protecting you, telling yourself, "Don't be afraid," while you're anxious, only increases the tension. Resistance tightens when you try to erase it. What's needed isn't persuasion. It isn't denial. It's honesty. I'm afraid. I'm scared to change. I'm scared to lose. I'm scared to grow. The moment that truth is acknowledged, the break softens. Resistance isn't your enemy. It's unfinished emotion. When you stop searching outside for the reason you can't receive, and instead listen inwardly, the current begins to shift. Chapter 4: Receiving isn't about forcing the flow. Trying to receive while resistance is still active creates strain. You tell yourself to stay positive, to believe harder, to visualize more clearly. But if your inner state is still braced, the flow feels heavy. Receiving isn't something you push into existence. It's not a technique to grab what you want. It's what naturally enters when your inner state is aligned. Think of water flowing through a hose. Turning on the faucet isn't enough if the hose is kinked. Resistance is that bend. The answer isn't increasing pressure, it's gently straightening the line. You don't need to blame yourself. You don't need to rush. When resistance softens, receiving happens without strain. It's not something taken from outside. It's what enters when your inner state is open. Chapter 5. The moment resistance softens. Resistance doesn't disappear overnight, but there are subtle moments. When someone compliments you, and instead of deflecting, you simply say, "Thank you." When something goes well, and instead of calling it luck, you quietly admit, "Maybe I'm worthy of this." They aren't dramatic shifts, but in those moments the inner brake loosens. As long as resistance remains, you stay guarded. Protection blocks the flow. But when you admit, "Yes, I was afraid," and "Yes, I truly wanted this," the protective force begins to complete its role. Resistance isn't something to shame, it kept you safe. And when it relaxes, receiving happens naturally. Being ready to receive isn't about becoming stronger, it's about no longer bracing. Final chapter, receiving happens when you allow it. We often search outside for reasons we haven't received. Bad timing, wrong environment, not enough preparation. But what blocks the flow is rarely external. It's a small resistance within. Receiving isn't taking, it isn't pushing through. It's giving yourself permission to stop guarding. You don't need fear to disappear completely. You don't need perfect confidence. You notice the resistance. And still you choose, "I can receive." That moment changes your energy. The movement begins from within. Receiving isn't random. It's the result of your permission. I am Realia. Resistance has been protecting you, and you are the one who can gently release it. If this message resonated with you, please support the channel with a like and subscription, and share your reflections in the comments. I'll see you in the next video.